hero shooters, an already popular video game genre that many studios recently dipped their toes into. Valve, who popularized hero shooters with Team Fortress 2, is giving it another go with Deadlock, which is still in closed beta. Sony attempted making their own hero shooter with Concord, which was a colossal $400 million failure that only lasted 2 weeks. Sadly, a hot sauce loving alien wasn't enough to get gamers interested, but you know what makes me interested in a hero shooter? Getting to play as Venom. Introducing Marvel Rivals. Rivals is a hero shooter similar to Overwatch. The game is a huge success as of right now, to the point it is eating Overwatch 2's lunch in views on Twitch. I really appreciate how this is a rare example of a licensed game succeeding against its competitor, like Nick All-Star Brawl games and Multiversus did not put a dent on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Those games, while fun, were not a better alternative, which is why they faded into irrelevancy. Marvel Rivals, however, is a great alternative to Overwatch 2, which is a testament to its success. And I want to clarify here that I am not an Overwatch hater like some people on the internet these days. I don't like Activision Blizzard as a company, but I had fun with the original game and what I've played of 2. As a multiplayer competitive game, it actually looks appealing to me, unlike something like League of Legends. I don't care how good Arcane is, I am not playing League of Legends. In this video, I'll be diving into why Marvel Rivals is a success and outnumbering Overwatch 2 in players and viewers. That's because of its presentation, amazing usage of the Marvel IP through its characters, its business model, and gameplay. Starting things off, Marvel Rivals' presentation is really great. One thing I really loved to see was that rather than be a first-person shooter like Overwatch, this game does third-person. That was a feature I honestly wish Overwatch had from the get-go. You have all these well-designed heroes, but unfortunately, you don't get a good view of the one you are playing as. Rivals, on the other hand, is designed with third-person in mind. This is great because it immerses you in the role of the Marvel superhero or villain you decide to play as. This immersion is made better with familiar locations from the comics being used for in-game matches. I love seeing Rivals' take on Asgard, Wakanda, their post-disaster version of Midtown, and especially the Clintar map, as I am a massive Venom fan. Choosing Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum for the Doom Match map was also a fun decision. Another aspect of the presentation I really like is the art style. Rather than looking identical to Overwatch, it goes for a unique stylized art style that screams comic book. The thing I appreciate the most about this game is they aren't MCU-ifying the base characters like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. All the character designs for Marvel Rivals are very unique while also being comic accurate. Speaking of comic accurate, Marvel Rivals utilizes the Marvel IP very well. Marvel has a world full of heroes and villains to pull from various books. Initially, at first glance, I thought Marvel Rivals took place in its own world with its own unique heroes from one universe. The game's premise is very compelling, as the reason all these heroes in this game unite is to stop Doctor Doom and Doctor Doom 2099 from destroying the multiverse. So yeah, the heroes here are all from different dimensions, which explains why they look different from their comic book counterparts and how Spider-Verse characters like Penny Parker are on the roster. The in-game reason for them fighting is to save the day, and they are overseen by none other than Galacta, the daughter of Galactus. She's quite obscure as she had a mini-series several years prior. She also had her own Twitter account too. It's a shame it never got reused to promote Rivals. The multiverse angle of Rivals makes sense as to why your team is fighting duplicates of your characters. There are characters in this game you'd expect, like Spider-Man, Thor, and their respected villains, Venom and Loki. I really love the variety of characters too. A large number of Avengers members are already in the game, like Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier, to name a few. We got mutants from X-Men in the game too, in the form of Magneto, Storm, Magic, Scarlet Witch, Psylocke, and Wolverine. We also have the entire Fantastic Four. I wonder if Doctor Doom will ever be playable too, but at the moment, he's the big bad of the game. Had this game game come out back when Fox had the rights, I wonder if these two Marvel IPs would be omitted like they were in Infinite. The era of Marvel ignoring X-Men and Fantastic Four in video games was terrible, and I am glad it's over and that they can now be in games like this. Then there are other well-known characters who don't fit a specific team necessarily, like Squirrel Girl and Moon Knight, who in recent years have gained a wider fan base. Besides the heroes and villains you'd expect, there are more obscure characters in the game too, like Jeff the Shark and Luna Snow. I talked about Jeff in my Gwenpool vid, where I briefly went over his inclusion in the Rivals beta. Initially, I really loved Jeff the Shark as he was a fun support character to play as. However, lately, he's gotten a notorious reputation ever since the game's launch. I will admit his ultimate can be quite annoying, so I get the complaints to an extent. However, he's just a silly little guy. Cut him a bit of slack. One thing I learned on TikTok recently is Jeff is voiced by John Bailey, the Honest Trailers guy. That really surprised me. The guy has really great vocal range. Luna Snow, another character, has an interesting origin of her own. She does appear in the Marvel comic book Agents of Atlas, however, she was a video game character first in the Netmarble mobile game Future Fight. So yeah, my initial thought of Luna Snow being an OC is sort of true, however, a different developer created her. Luna Snow was created by Netmarble, a South Korean game studio, while Marvel Rivals is made by NetEase, a Chinese studio. I remember hearing someone tell me she was a NetEase character, but she isn't, but the point still stands that she originated from a game first and not a comic book. Overall, I like how there are so many Marvel Comics characters to choose from. There are at the moment 37 characters and more are definitely on the way. Now let's talk about Marvel Rivals' business model. Rather than compare it to just Overwatch 2's, I want to compare it to the soon-to-be defunct crossover fighting game that is Multiversus. The problem with that WB crossover platform fighter's business model is that it was super greedy. A good chunk of the characters are locked, and the game encourages you to grind like crazy or cave and pay with the in-game currency, Gleamium, for characters. Overwatch 2 also had a similar problem at launch where some characters needed to be unlocked at the start, but luckily I owned Overwatch prior, so I got the base characters for free. The good thing about Marvel Rivals' launch is all the characters are free. You don't need to unlock anyone. My problem with some free-to-play games these days is when companies lock playable characters behind a battle pass. This is definitely one of the reasons Multiversus failed and lost a good amount of its player base. They changed it to a fighter's road thing, but by then players lost interest, and now it's been announced that the game's servers will go down on May 30th after Season 5 concludes. In 2024, it was announced Overwatch 2 would end the character-timed exclusive Battle Pass practice, so thankfully, this bad business move seems to be coming to an end. I am really glad Marvel Rivals avoided having locked characters. You can enjoy this game and not pay a single dime, and I love that. Rather than encourage you to pay real money for characters if you don't want to grind, the game simply takes the Fortnite approach. Skins and battle passes are the way this game monetizes. While battle passes cost real money as they cost the game's virtual currency, which is Lattice, there is a way to get skins for free. You can earn units in the game by getting achievements, which are what the shop skins can be purchased with. Sure, you can transfer the Lattice you buy to units, but if you grind enough, you can get a skin for completely free. I won't lie, I caved day one and bought the Wolverine skin from Deadpool and Wolverine and got the first battle pass. Still, I was able to earn the Maker skin mostly for free by grinding for units and using a bit of my leftover Lattice. To be honest, I just wanted the Wolverine skin since I prefer him in the yellow and black comic book suit rather than his default outfit. However, besides Wolverine, the rest of the game characters look fine just with their default outfits, so I honestly don't think I'll be purchasing any more skins. Cosmetics are a nice novelty, but they don't provide any advantage gameplay-wise, so while the current Battle Pass looks nice, I will avoid it as my wallet will thank me. As a frame for reference for monetization, Overwatch 2 does the same by selling skins skins. However, my gripe with that game is some have infamously costed 40 bucks at times. Rivals and Fortnite skins typically cost around 20 bucks. Finally, one last thing I like about this game's business model is that unlike Fortnite, you can revisit battle passes at any time. At first, I was pissed I needed a lot of chrono tokens to unlock the final page of the previous pass, but grinding is quite easy in this game, and now I have the Mantis skin I wanted. Overall, I am honestly happy to see that Marvel Rivals has improved after the closed beta. Sure, the skins that I claimed in the beta did not carry over, obviously, but the blue Venom skin did. What I appreciate about this game is there are free cosmetics you can earn through events. So you don't need to pay a single dime, and also the grind isn't as difficult for the free currency as Overwatch 2 was for me. Overall, I am really glad NetEase avoided adding in predatory gaming monetization practices after the beta. I still enjoy the game, and in no way is the official launch a downgrade in any way. Finally, I'll talk about the most important aspect of Marvel Rivals, the gameplay. Marvel Rivals, like I said earlier, is a team-based hero shooter. It is very similar to Overwatch and follows the same gameplay format. However, unlike Overwatch 2, which lowered battles to 5v5 initially, Rivals is a 6v6 at launch. You get the heroes and villains with their own set of moves, and once they hit a certain percentage, they use their ultimate. To say Rivals is inspired by Overwatch would be an understatement.
He copied my whole fucking flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
That's not a bad thing, as competition is good. Another thing I want to acknowledge is that this game stands well on its own and subverts expectations with the gameplay of its characters. For example, Penny Parker as a robot, so she must be a diva clone, right? Wrong. Bruce Banner, aka the Incredible Hulk, is the diva clone. Penny Parker is somewhat of a Junkrat clone since she has her own spider mines. Crazy, right? However, as far as obvious clones go, Star-Lord definitely is modeled after Tracer somewhat, and also Soldier 76. Then there's Adam Warlock, who can revive players similar to Mercy. Punisher can also use a turret similar to Bastion. Iron Man plays similar to Pharah. Luna Snow plays similar to Kiriko. Since I am not a regular Overwatch 2 player, that's just a few comparisons I can think of off the top of my head. People on Reddit and YouTube have done character comparisons before, and if I did that, we'd be here all day. From what I can gather, based on the comparison lists I found on Reddit and the site Mobolytics, no character is a complete clone, as the characters in Rivals have a mix of similarities to other Overwatch 2 characters. Since I am not a complete expert, I'll link these lists in the description, as it was a good point of reference to refresh my memory a bit. Overwatch 2 character comparisons out of the way though, how do these characters play?
Let's go, squaddies. We got a hero up.
The heroes and villains of Rivals play like you'd expect, similar to how they do in the comic book media they are a part of, which is designed to fit their specific roles of Vanguard, Duelist, and Strategist. Vanguards are the tanks, Duelists are the damage dealers, aka the DPS, and Strategists are the healers who provide support. The characters fill their roles very well, like Venom being a tank is perfect, same goes for Mantis as a healer. What I found the most interesting about this game are the characters I thought I'd play initially ended up changing. I really thought I'd be a Spider-Man main, I honestly did, but he's a 5-star character, meaning he is a bit challenging to master. Instead of him, I played Penny and Venom a whole lot more. One thing I really like about Rivals is the satisfaction of finally getting the achievements for specific heroes. Wolverine was my main in the game for a while, and I was struggling to time his last stand ultimate right. I was playing with him constantly with the hope of getting 3 KOs with it. When the time came, it felt great. I felt free to play the rest of the characters besides Wolverine like magic. The fun of this game as a comic book fan is trying out these characters to see how well they are adapted. Overall, I really like the creative ways NetEase translated these iconic comic book characters to the game. As far as recent characters go, I love bouncing as Mr. Fantastic. It is so incredibly fun. I also love how he can turn buff when fighting enemies. It is so funny. I love how Sue Storm Storm is translated to the game too as a healer. I really like how she can jump away from enemies and turn invisible. Johnny Storm is fun to fly as, and I love shooting fireballs at people along with the fire cyclones with his ultimate. The Thing is great to play as too, as I love clobbering people as him. He's a fantastic tank.
Say that again?
Besides the movesets of the characters, another gameplay aspect I love unique to this game are the team-up abilities which fit the comic book theme of this game perfectly. For example, Sue can give the Fantastic Four members a shield, which is nice. The most fun ones for me though are the symbiote powers Spider-Man and Penny Parker get from Venom. I also love how Luna Snow gives Jeff the Shark and Namor ice powers. There's also Rocket Raccoon's team-up ability with Punisher and Winter Soldier, which gives them unlimited ammo. Wolverine and Hulk have the Fastball Special, a move from the X-Men comics. The Thing has it too. Finally, the last team-up ability I want to cover is Groot's, which is simple yet effective. He can put Rocket on his shoulder just like in the Guardians of the Galaxy comics and moves, which is expected. However, not only can Rocket be on his shoulder, but Jeff can too, and isn't that cute? Marvel Rivals overall is a really good game. It is 100% a free-to-play game done right. Unlike the previous disappointing crossover game I played, Rivals gives players a fun gaming experience without paying a dime. Having all the characters playable at launch was a very pro-consumer move. While I did buy the Wolverine Deadpool movie skin in the first Battle Pass, I think it was worth doing to support this well put together game. Marvel Rivals is perfectly fine and playable for free, and it definitely is the reason for its success. Another reason is Marvel Rivals took notes from Overwatch, a hero shooter, and used it to its advantage. By taking these recognizable characters from comic book history and mixing it with this genre of game, NetEase created a great competitor. Fans of Overwatch 2 clearly drifted to its gameplay, while fans of Marvel checked it out to play as their favorite characters. I can attest to that as someone who enjoyed both aspects. Like I said earlier, I'm not an Overwatch hater, but honestly, after playing Rivals, I don't feel the need to go back to 2. I get my hero shooter gameplay fix from Marvel Rivals already, and I can only focus on so many multiplayer games at a time, like Fortnite. Initially, I wanted to do an in-depth comparison between the two games, but I feel like someone's already done that. Rather, I just wanted to gush about how happy I am this free-to-play license game actually improved after the beta. Can't fully say the same for Multiversus, but that's a topic for another time. Overall, I am really excited for the future of Rivals. This has been Shade X, and I hope you all feel nothing but good vibes.